black. Um, Silent Legend is normally purple, but Destro swiped purple for this game. And then Baines is on white. Horseboy normally plays on blue. So I think Quarantined also normally plays on blue. I could be mistaken on that. But I do know Horseboy normally plays blue. So yeah, it looks like all the colors are straight. So who do we have up first? It looks like Destro is sitting in the first seat here. And checking out the map with the blizzard configuration, looks like we got a couple of blizzards toward the middle section of the board there, and then you got one blizzard in that nice little hidey hole corner spot in the top left, and then the fourth blizzard is just a couple territories to the right of that corner blizzard spot. So we see the alliances go up because this is a fixed game. What you guys are going to see are bonus taking, and you're also going to see alliances and comms going on amongst the players for alliances here. Now, what's curious is normally when we have a fixed game, normally it's like a 70% game, but no, this is a world dom game. So it may end up progressing slowly, but the blizzards should help keep the game from stalemating, right? So the curious thing about those blizzards in the middle, it splits that bonus, which I believe that bonus is a +5. We'll take a look at the bonuses in just a moment. So the fact that +5 in the middle that a lot of people are going for, because it's normally not a particularly difficult bonus to take or hold. It especially in a fixed game with good neighbor play. Um, but the tricky part here is the fact that it's going to be split, right? Um, and then obviously probably the main thing to note is that the top right corner of this map is more choked up because of those blizzards, right? That pink 3 and the black 3, those are the only two ways. Well, I suppose you can go all the way around via the bridge there, where Baines just put a 6. But it's a little bit more choked up than it normally is when you get blizzards side by side like that. Narrowing the pathways is something that players are going to have to look out for. Easy continent for quarantine. Oh yeah, quarantine pretty much spawns with that. I think that's a +3. Um, just all he has to do is take his card. He's probably going to move in from that 2 that's outside of the bonus and then just sit and chill. We see Baines lining up a +2. I was rambling too much. I kind of missed Horseboy's turn. Horseboy's in the second seat. It looks like he's lining up the bonus at the top of the map, which I believe is a +4. Baines' bonus that he's lining up is a +2. Rugster is lining up the bottom left bonus. I believe that is a +4 as well, but we'll take a peek at all that here in a second and confirm it. Um, looks like looks like he's thinking about rolling out of the bonus that Horseboy's lined up. No. Yeah. He's rolling down one of his 2s and requesting that players leave so that he doesn't have to hit 2s. Silent Legend is in the fifth seat as pink. No obvious bonus for Silent Legend. Now, the other interesting thing about the +5 and the fact that the blizzards are split, that one territory in the +5 doesn't actually connect by way of the dotted lines of the dashed lines down to uh, silence 4 here. Um, so because of that, the only players that can get the +5 are quarantined if he decides to remove the 2, or or if the 2 is just never removed, right? So Baines is the only other person that could get the +5. Um, well, assuming that nobody breaks quarantine to go for it and remove Baines, but that seems so the most likely people to take that would be uh, quarantined or Baines. Um, but the issue that people are gonna, if you're not quarantined or Baines, how do you get back there now that quarantine is about to take this bonus here? So the turn that we miss again due to my rambling, we got Silent. He's gonna go for the bonus up in the north end of the board. He's got a 7 lined up there. So quarantine has decided to also use his turn to evacuate that bonus, and now quarantine's sitting with a lovely bonus 3 and 4 stack guards That is not likely to be broken. And um, getting going last in a fixed game like this, you 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 definitely want a spawn like that. You at least don't want a bad spawn when you go last, but having a spawn like this might actually put Quarantined ahead. All right. We see a quick turn there from Dedestro. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the bonuses. We'll quickly go over those as these players are working through the second round of turns here. So we have 1+2, which is the one that Baines has. So we'll see if Horseboy moves out of that. That's the Whitechapel +2 all the way on the east side of the board. Then you have four, oh, sorry. You have 2+2s. Southwark all the way at the southern end of the board, that big section in the bottom right. Um, those three, large size territories. They just I don't know why they're so big, but anyway, that's the other +2. Then you have 4+3s. You got Westminster, bottom left side of the board. That's what Rugster's going for. You got Covent Garden. That's what the Risk Gods decided to gift Quarantine to this game. Then you got Hackney, which is what Silent Legends going for, and then you got Tower Hamlets, which is what Dedestro is lining up. And then you got your +4 Clerkenwell. That's what Horseboy appears to be going for. Um, then you have your +5 St. Paul's Cathedral, which is the Blizzard's bonus that it looks like Baines is going to attempt to go for that, it seems, I think. And then you have the +6 Mayfair bonus up in the northwest corner of the board. And then scattered throughout the board, there's all kinds of landmarks. And if you happen to control each one of those landmarks as a split bonus, I believe there's 7 of them, you get a +9. So very unlikely to see anyone get the +9 and hold it as a bonus or anything. But those are the bonuses on the 28 turns later map. All right, so it looks like Horus was removed by Baines so that Baines could get his +2. Baines is also working on moving into the +5. He probably does want to move in there and upgrade from a +2 to a +5. Ruxter gets out of the way for him, so Baines is actually going to end up with that +5, which makes sense. Baines probably was the most likely person to get it. Quarantined would just be it would have been too greedy for Quarantine to go for both a +3 or 4 or whatever. He +3 and a +5. So um, yeah. So Silent finishes his bonus. He's on his +3. Rugster also finished his bonus, which is also a +3. So um, Dedestro and Horseboy are the only two players not on. Oh, and we have some aggressive play there by Quarantine. Completely removes Dedestro from the bonus he was about to take. Dedestro in big trouble here. Now it looks like Dedestro's only hope is to somehow insist on the +6 in the top left. That's where he's got most of his territories. I don't see that happening. Does he go over to try and suicide into Quarantine? No, he's gonna just pass, see how long he can last, maybe get placement points or something. Um, yeah, I mean Dedestro is now in basically an impossible situation. Um, Brutal move from Quarantined, uh, but I will say a well played move. So Horseboy finishes his +4. We'll see if anyone tries to cut Horseboy off at the knees, just like we saw done there to Destro. Very spicy play. So Baines goes ahead and grabs his second bonus. Quarantined is perfectly happy with that decision because he is also eyeing a second bonus, having removed Dedestro from that side of the board. Yeah, good. Zareki, you're 100% right. Good way to progress the game. That was a low casualty play for Quarantined, especially since Dedestro does not really have a good path to even suicide out effectively against Quarantined. And Quarantined seeing that Dedestro didn't really have a viable retribution path, takes the opportunity to weaken one of the opponents he has in this game and an attempt to go for a second bonus. So Rugster breaks the +2, which I don't think Baines much cares about anymore, since he's now on a +5. And Rugster splits his 4s to guard his +3. It looks like Rugster's lining up a +2, so that way he'll be collecting +5, equal to Baines. Quarantined isn't. I don't think Quarantined is too concerned about a second bonus. I'm sure he wants one, but he did get his +3 very early, which put him ahead. Silent goes ahead and takes the other +2, so Silent is on +5. Rugster's about to be on +5. If Quarantined is allowed to hold this bonus, presumably, assuming he takes it, right? If he's allowed to hold it, he'll be on +6, which would leave Horace Boy down at +4 with no other like viable bonuses to take, and then Dedestro just completely in dire straits. Unless a major upset happens, Dedestro is effectively out of this game, unfortunately. But never say never. So Dedestro continues to put his troops on the board and not take cards, which it's already a low profit play to eliminate a player in a fixed game. So doesn't Dedestro does not see much incentive to take any cards anyway. So Zareki predicting that someone's going to break Quarantine. Quarantine does not have the strongest hold on his second bonus, but he does have a set on 3. The risk gods over here smiling upon Quarantined today. Gets a nice spawn, and first 3 cards is a 10 set. So Zareki predicting that someone's going to break Quarantined. Horse Boy doesn't want to do it. Baines is beefing up his split corner spot there with the 10. Looks like he's placing troops in front of Rugster. I think those are just there to grab a card. Yeah, and then that probably goes on to his 3. No, it goes on to his 9. Okay. And now Rugster's up. Rugster could break Quarantine if he wanted to, but I think Rugster's priority is taking the +2 so that he can also be on +5. So as far as positions are concerned, Horace Boy is pretty much only in the top left hand section of this board with a 4 stack on the Eye of London territory there. I believe that's what that's called. And then Dedestro pretty much only on the left side of the board, right? Got a 9 stack, a 4 stack, and then a 5 stack, kind of nestled in between Rugster's bonus and Silent Legends bonuses. Silent all over this map has bonuses not neighboring each other, and then a 13 stack all the way on the west side of the board. Yeah, Quarantine gets 19 troops this turn on 52 troops. Way ahead. Not really worth it to kill anybody though. Maybe it might be worth taking out Baines if he can swing the rolls, but he doesn't. I don't think he quite has the troops to deal with Baines or to fully take him out. But Baines 26 troops and 4 cards is a better deal than Dedestro 19 troops and 2 cards. But even with Quarantine's lead, he simply doesn't have the troops to do that kill. And then Rugster working on a second bonus didn't actually finish it last turn, which I think is a bit interesting. But he's on opposite ends of the board with a 7 stack up in the +6 that will likely remain unclaimed, so that these players can trade cards. I believe I covered everyone's quarantined is pretty much only uh in his bonuses, but one of his bonuses neighbors the um the unclaimed bonus in which a lot of the card trading is going on. So um yeah, so this board is now a stable board. Um with Dedestro unfortunately being the weak link at some point on this board, uh killing Dedestro for his 2 cards will be worth it. Quarantine extremely strong, can just chill, let others fight off. Yeah, yeah. Quarantine's very strong, and he's got the best bonus combo on the board. He's got a +6. Um, so he can just theoretically he can just let that extra troop that he's getting over Banes and over Silent um take him to the end and win the game. Ruxter has a trade. Doesn't want the +2. Oh, yes, he does. Of course he wants the +2. Uh, but it looks like he's leaving Baines a territory to trade cards with him. I think that's what both of the those 2 attacks were. That's why he did 2 attacks to do the card trading with Baines. So 47 troops for Rugster. Um, I think we're unlikely. Oh, excuse me. I think we're unlikely to see Rugster's bonuses broken anytime soon. So yeah, I think the first thing that happens to advance the game is someone uh, eliminates Dedestro, but we'll see how this shakes out once everybody turns in their cards. So far the bonuses or so far the sets that we've seen have been 10 sets. Hey, we got Crackle with the Prime subbed. Yeah, poor Dedestro. Yep. 9 troops for quarantine is going to put him on just about 60. Sees a thumbs up from Rugster. Takes a territory, or takes his card with a 3v1. Makes a big 27 stack on one side of the board. That might be a let's kill Dedestro stack. Also leaves the door open for Dedestro to come in, but he does have to break Rugster's bonus in the process. So Dedestro's saying, yeah, I hear you wanted to invest in, advance the game and put yourself in a better position, but you also screwed my game. I may as well screw yours. All right. Horace Boy appears to have not gotten the best of trades there. So Rugster could retake, but if Silent doesn't move his 14 stack out of the way, because I think what Quarantine does on his turn is just finish off Dedestro. I don't think Quarantine has any reason to let Dedestro remain alive in this game. So Rugster's got to think about if he wants to even bother retaking, since since Quarantine may end up going back through Rugster's bonus. But Quarantine may not necessarily need to do that if Silent moves his 14 out of the way. But Rugster goes before Silent. So we'll see. Does Silent keep his 14 stack there and force Quarantine to break Rugster while he's killing Dedestro? So Rugster appears to be asking Quarantine, "Hey, are you killing this guy this turn? What are you doing? What can I hit? what can I do to where I don't screw up whatever you're trying to do since you just got hit? So we'll see if Rugster helps him. So if Rugster doesn't want to get broken, he does need to remove Dedestro from down there. Yeah, Quarantine's giving him the thumbs up. Quarantine wants that position removed. Rugster is going to leave a 4 there. So okay, so Quarantined is unlikely to eliminate Dedestro this round. Rugster thinking to himself, well, this guy's gonna slam the 15 stack, isn't he? Okay, we see Silent take the kill. Silent does not have to break anyone's bonus to finish Dedestro off. And Dedestro is on 3 cards, so this will set Silent in again. He did set in just a moment ago to go for this kill. So that is a GG for Dedestro and a excellent kill by Silent Legend. Puts him on 49 troops, 15 territories. Trades in. Yeah, and his Fortify is, of course, out of Quarantine's bonus. So Quarantined with his target now off the board can retake his bonus and go back to trying to dominate the board by having a +6 bonus when everyone else is on +5 at most. How's it going, Dedestro? Yeah, your spawn was really rough, man. But I personally I didn't see any major mistakes on your part. That was just rough. Horace Boy trades in on 3. Looks like he's gonna beat Silent up a little bit. Does he go for the +6? Is he gonna try an upgrade? No, just he knocks Silent down under 12 territories. Yeah, and yeah, Dedestro, I mean, all you guys know how the game is played, the progression. So it's always good to see players at this level. I mean, it's called professional risk takers for a reason. You guys are pretty much all of you guys are like excellent sports, good sports, um, about plays like that. So Quarantined and Quarantine's trying to ask Rugster to hit or break Silent. Rugster decides to hit a 2 of Quarantines for a card. Silent with some 16 stacks. Quarantine has the truck trade, which is equivalent to the artillery trade for fixed. Gives him 8 troops. He is going to go ahead and use it. He is still ahead of the game in terms of troop count. Even once some of these other players set in, he still should be slightly ahead. Yeah, Zareki, you're asking that's exactly the right next question to ask. Who is the next target? So the obvious choice would, in my opinion, the choices are probably either Baines or Rugster. The tricky part about Baines, so one of the reasons I would put Baines on there is because he's only in one position. Well, sorry, he's in one position minus that little hole that he's got behind Quarantine's first bonus, right? but he also has a couple of 25 stacks, which are some of the largest stacks on the board. Aside from Quarantine's 40 stack, those 25 stacks are the biggest stacks on the board. So it actually Rugster's probably more likely, uh, in my opinion, to be the next target. Silent Legend, of course, is not out of the question that he's the next target. But he's just in more places than Rugster is. Yeah. So if those two blizzards weren't there splitting off that 35 stack of Banes, I think it would be Banes, but it's kind of a toss up between uh, Banes, Rugster, and Silent, I think. And part of the reason I think Rugster's too strong for any one person to go at. Players would kind of need to or sorry, I think Quarantined is too strong for any one person to go at. You would kind of need uh, a couple people to work on him. Um, and the problem with going after the strongest guy on the board is when he when and if he suicides into you, he's the strongest guy on the board. He's gonna have the most troops to send at you. In that case, so it's higher risk for Quarantine to be the next target. And Horace Boy, I don't know. Maybe he should be on the chopping block there. I'm not quite seeing it. Um, the if I will say if Horace Boy didn't have that 14 stack in the Eye of London, Quarantined might be thinking about going after Horace Boy, but yeah, it's definitely tricky. Um, but yeah, the only way that this game progresses is for four of these players to decide, hey, this guy's the next guy out. So we're gonna have to decide um, who's gonna get voted off the island next. Rugster goes to 5 cards. So does Silent. Silent on 58 troops and 5 cards. He might be next. So the players are playing the waiting game now. No one really wants to be the first to initiate the feeding frenzy, but uh, there's little doubt that if someone were to initiate the feeding frenzy, it would indeed begin and continue until that targeted player um, is gone. Sets in for 6. Ruxter's trade, not the best. Takes a card off his 3. So, oh, Silent with an even worse trade gets a 4. I think what these players are doing right now is everyone wanted to see how the sets would shake out. Rugster and Silent got the short end of the sticks for this round of trades. And Quarantine uh still plenty ahead. You being 15, 20 troops ahead. Well, he's yeah, 15ish troops cuz Baines is on 80 troops. Um, Quarantine has a clear lead here. Um, the fix cards differential and the fact that Quarantine has the best bonus combo right now on +6 means that he's gonna be hard to catch. Players are gonna have to team on him, and Quarantine has a giant stack that he's currently using to go after Rugster. Hits Rugster down a little bit. Doesn't fully go into him. Is now sending the signal, hey, we have decided that King Quarantined over here has decided that it's off with Rugster's head this game. So yeah, the blood is in the water. Quarantine drew first blood, and the feeding frenzy can begin. And it will continue. Actually, it'll likely end right here. Baines sets in for 10. 10 trade on 3 puts everything in front of Rugster's last position. But still has plenty of troops to mow through. Loses 13 on that first 15. Loses 16 on the next one. Not getting the best dice here. An expensive kill, but still gets it. GG's to Rugster. And well played to Baines for finishing that kill. With I suppose kill assists coming from Horus Boy and Quarantined. How's it going, Nathaniel? Nathaniel's in the chat. All right, Silent Legend didn't really have to help with that, but he's not getting very good trades. He's gonna go after Baines now. The feeding frenzy is continuing. Decides to finish Baines off. That's going to put Silent on 5 cards once he ends his turn. But that actually was a fairly inexpensive kill relative to the kill that Baines just had on Rugster. That was Silent got some really good dice there. Looks like he is going to leave a 20 stack in Quarantine's bonus. So we got 86 troops for Quarantine, 50 for Silent, and 67 for Horus. If Quarantine goes whole hog into either of these players, presumably the other one just wins. So how does Quarantine balance this out so that he can still come out on top? It looks like he's going to go after Horus Boy. Isn't going to quite be able to split things off to finish Horus Boy off this turn. Is going to leave Silent Legend on 3 bonuses. The 2 +2s and the +5 that Bane occupied. Looks like he is going to hit a 3 of Silence. He's going to hit a little bit more of Horus. So Quarantined might have had the Horus Boy kill here. But, no, I don't think he quite had it. That would have been way too close. Horus sets in for 10. I'm sure not entirely thrilled with Quarantined. So how hard does how hard does Horus Boy hit Quarantined here? Gonna go ahead and remove him from the top right-hand side of the board. And Silent got to keep 2 of those bonuses. Silent on +7, sitting on 5 cards. Is this a good trade? Yeah, Silent finally gets a decent trade. 10 troops coming in. And now Silent Legend is on, is in the lead with the troop count. Hits some Horus Boy, is going to hit some Quarantined as well. No reason for either of his opponents to have bonuses at this point. So Silent feeding Horus to Quarantined. And yeah, based on the alliance communication, Quarantined is happy with that situation. Quarantined will take second, and I believe 2 bounties, or at least 1. At least 1. I think what we see here is Quarantined going down and hitting Horus Boy's 18 stack, conceding the game to Silent Legend. Gets good dice on that. Do we see him attempt the 1v1? I think Silent is just too far ahead at this point. Maybe you still attempt the 1v1. I don't know, 46 troops and you have the initiative. I still, I don't know. I still fight it. I mean, I think Silent is favored for this because they're both on the same amount of cards. But Silent goes first. I don't know. You you fight it out. You give it a fair shake, right? Why not? There's only 2 of you left. It probably won't take that long. Oh, actually, no. Quarantined has card advantage because Quarantine's going to be on 4 cards here. But card initiative doesn't matter as much in fixed, though it, of course, still does matter. It's definitely a factor. So because of that blizzard, yes, Silent needed to go needed to take the path south there. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to get this corner of the board over here. He would have been locked in by the territory that he occupies, plus those 2 blizzards. Is he able to get that last one? He does. So Silent has a ton of territory, a ton of bonuses. Yeah, Silent should still win. Quarantined needs a 10 set here. Has an 8 with a +2. That technically adds up to 10, but does it add up to victory? Has a 7 stack that he could add to up in the top. And then Silent is going to trade in on his next turn. So Quarantine is going to have to hit a lot of Silent here. But unfortunately, I don't think he quite has the troops. Going to break every bonus that Silent has, which is what you need to do. Oh, loses a 3v1 that he cannot afford to lose. And that would have put Silent on 7 troops instead of, or on 6 troops instead of 7. And Silent, again with the bad trades, trading in for 6. He's going to sew up the right-hand side of the board here. Yeah, so now, because both these players are good enough to understand, hey, we got to break bonuses, because it's fixed, it now kind of comes down to territory count, right? And Silent is the clear favorite in territory count. He's going to be collecting more troops just based off of how many territories he owns at the beginning of every turn. So Quarantine just put down 4 or 5 troops that turn, but Silent is putting down 7 or 8 troops, or is putting down, I think 9 troops is how many troops he just put down that turn. And can just slowly finish the attrition war that he's clearly in the lead with against Quarantine here. And because it's fixed, a 10 set on 3 is not going to overcome the differential that Quarantine now finds himself in. He does have an 8 set though. But I think Quarantine knows that any more resistance would just prolong the game. So he respectfully resigns here. GG to Quarantine, and a well-played Silent Legend for taking the W in Group 5 for the OCTOFINALS.